Joan Quinn, a member of the California Arts Council and Beverly Hills Arts Commission, is the former West Coast editor of Andy Warhol's Interview magazine and society editor of the Herald Examiner. Her cover stories can be read in Venice and Detour magazines, and she is a contributing editor to California Apparel News. For the next half hour, Joan will bring you inside news and views on society, art, film, and the exhilarating worlds of these multifaceted people. Here is Joan Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to Etc. Wow, do we have a show for you today. It's going to be in English, even though we have a German designer with us, Wolfgang Joop. Designer Wolfgang Joop was born in Potsdam, in what was East Germany, but now lives in Hamburg. He thought of studying medicine, but ended up in the liberal arts. When he was 27, he became the fashion editor of New Mode in Hamburg. That was one step toward his successful career in design. Why weren't you happy reporting on fashion, Wolfgang?
There's so many things in life, and fashion is one kind of aspect, like expressing yourself. And it's less risky than doing operations.
Well, what did you do in between? It said it was 27 before you got to be writing.
For a long time, I was a freelance designer in Italy and France and Europe, and I got hired, from companies, and I was on my way with my sketchbook, and I did, in restaurants and cafes, collections other people sold.
Oh, you were already working toward it before you became an editor?
Yeah. And I also, in these days, I was also working as a fashion illustrator for magazines. So they sent me to Paris, and I could watch shows, and I could learn a lot. That was my kind of education, because I never studied fashion at a school.
No fashion, just painting and painting and
painting, sculpturing, and I wanted to become an art teacher, but I was a little bit bored, like seeing my target in front of my eyes, like going back to the school where I just escaped from,
But you still do a lot of drawing, don't you, in your collections?
I tell you, thousands of sketches every year, like shoes and belts and all the accessories and men's and women's and all that stuff.
So when you left the fashion magazine, I think your first collection was a fur collection.
Yes. No, I became famous through a fur collection. I did also other collections like ski wear and sportswear and underwear, everything what people could pay me for, You
were doing that before?
Yeah. I did everything because I was a father very early. I was 22 when I became a father, and I was 27 when the second daughter came. So I always had to feed a family. So that's a little bit different. So I always had the choice between underemployed or overemployed, and so I chose being overemployed.
Your daughters live in Los Angeles?
She's living in Los Angeles.
Just one lives here?
Yeah, one. The other one is still in Hamburg. The first one, Henrietta, is studying at the Pasadena Art Center, transportation design, car design.
Oh, that's a great school.
Yeah, and the other one still wants to become a rock singer.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, her father can dress her.
Yeah, right. No, she can dress herself better, I think, for that what she wants to express.
Well, you did become very famous as a dress designer and a designer of menswear and women's wear, I guess. And I want to see a clip right now of your last the fashion show, and you can talk a little bit about it, and then we'll talk about your ideas of fashion. So let's watch the screen, and we'll see.
I'll take my glasses.
Okay, fashion show. Where is it?
That was in Hamburg.
In Hamburg.
So as I see,
the
I see a guy.
menswear.
So that's a collection for next fall, and it's for me a little bit inspired by the type from the 30s, 40s, 50s, and which is anyways the style I'm always reporting, because even when the 60s or 70s are in fashion, when I do a collection, at least it looks like the 40s again. I can't help it, because that was my kind of fashion influence. When I went to Berlin as a child, my mother took me to Berlin. I saw the first Walt Disney movies when I was 6, because I lived in Potsdam at that time, and that was East Germany, but the wall was not built up.
I see you show furs. Do you have the same kind of backlash on furs in Europe?
No, in Germany, for instance, it's coming back because, I mean, the sentimental way of thinking about fur is a little bit over because, I mean, we have so much pity or compassion with small animals, but no compassion with big animals. And I think digesting animals is not more moral than wearing animals.
So I think that's kind of, that feeling has swept Europe as a change, maybe.
Yeah, but I think it's a change also because I think it's not only that we are blaming people for wearing fur. We are in a way killing a whole branch, you know. And if you are thinking about the people who are living really in the cold areas, like in Alaska or Canada, Russia, and I mean, these people are living on this kind of fur deal, you know. And even if you're taking Russian people in Moscow, their fur hats away, I mean, their ears are falling off. Yeah. So it's a little bit too much emotional, and now it becomes everything. In the 90s becomes more and more rational. I mean, more brain than emotion, because I think we are more in the time of thinking than of just feeling.
You show everything, skirts, pants.
Absolutely. And you see also the hemline of the skirts is longer. So, and I think that, because I think it's not only a short hemline that expresses that I'm a young woman, you know, even being sophisticated and playing with longer or different hemlines. I think there's no rule anymore, like you have to wear this or that. I think a woman today picks up what she wants and what expresses her personality.
I think just from seeing the show on tape, the way we saw it, people know now what kind of work you do. And it was 11 years since a German had won the Golden Spinning Wheel, which is like the Oscar, the Academy Awards of Europe.
Yes.
Why was it so long in coming?
I don't know. I mean, you ask me.
What were the Germans doing? Were they designing?
No. I mean, in Germany, there are not so many designers as I would say. It's me as a profession, because I'm starting to do a collection like with a blanket piece of paper and my pen, you know. There's nothing else before. But in Germany, and they are very, very, I mean, famous for manufacturing, the Germans, the German fashion industry delivers much more, for instance, to Italy than the Italians deliver to Germany. I mean,
so you need designers in Germany.
Yeah, I think
they
are more business people. They are more. They do fashion like brain-wise, not so much out of their stomach like I would do. You know, and I think that's probably not very German in a way. The Germans are calculative. They are
technologically
very on the top, really, right now. But I mean, like in Italy or in France or in London, you can find these kind of emotional designers. Like I would say, I could count myself to.
As an emotional designer. Yes. That was 10 years ago. What you won the award in '82 and also again in '83.
That's fabulous that you're telling me these dates, because I forgot them all.
Well, I know, and it was a long time, which means you've been on the top in the country for many years. Who are the other name designers that we would know? Designers who live. He doesn't live in Germany, does he?
No, he lived as a child in Germany.
But who are living
and he bought a house again in Hamburg right now, and he's restoring it. And I mean, he is a fabulous designer, and I mean, he takes his kind of German Prussian temperament, like being punctual, being very fast and energetic, together with this kind of emotions and this kind of decadence. And I mean, I think he's really fabulous. The others, I mean, Jolzander, we know. And then there's this wonderful woman, Margareta Lai, who does Escada, and she really is a witness that everyone in the world has the same taste.
That's right. I knew the Jill Sander name, and I had forgotten.
She's in my neighborhood already.
Is she? Yeah. I had forgotten Lay, but those maybe are the ones.
I mean, she's the biggest, Margareta Lay.
But so when I started thinking about
yeah, but I mean all these whatever we could mention of German designers who are based in Germany, it's not a fashion like you would compare to Vivienne Westwood, for instance.
No,
it's not so experimental. It's more like what people really need to wear, and it's a good concept of dressing, but it's not like you would say fantasy. I mean, or wildness or whatever.
Are there any certain trends right now?
You mean in Germany?
Yes.
I mean,
more than the long skirts.
Yeah,
anything else?
There's a trend which is already, I mean, long-lasting for a couple of seasons. It's a trend for quality. You know, it's really, I mean, sometimes for me it's a little bit, it goes on my nerves in a way, because people touch before they look at it, you know.
Because they want to get something for their money, I
think. For their money,
is that
and
right?
they are very educated, and they have a big knowledge about quality, fibers, fabrics. You know, they go into a boutique and say, is this wool, cashmere, silk mixture or not, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
But that's great. I think the public is becoming aware of what it takes to make something.
Yeah, because I think it becomes much more important for the next years, like to know how your wardrobe is made, or if it's damaging the nature, or
that's important.
If it's the process of dyeing, for instance, a fabric, if this is damaging the water or whatever, you know.
Do you think about those things?
Yes, I think about these things, and
the conservation aspect.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think this is a trend which will be long-lasting for the next years. It's much more important than knowing what kind of label you're wearing, or what kind of designer's clothes you're wearing. It's like the way that you are thoughtful, respectful dressed.
And the other thing is, if you're a designer who thinks about those things, a person buying one piece out of your collection should be able to wear it with other things in your collection.
Therefore, every single piece should be a little outstanding, a little special, a little bit like a masterpiece. Then you can combine it like with simple things like T-shirts, jeans, whatever. This kind of ability every piece should have.
You don't mind that? You don't mind that somebody...
I think also a mixture between other designers is great, because I mean, if I would be a baker, you know, I wouldn't eat all my rolls myself. You know, it's kind of boring. I mean, I'm also curious, like touching someone else's work. You know. Do you have
in your mind? Do you have a way to define fashion?
Oh, I mean, once I said fashion, you know, if you are a designer like me, there's a definition for me that fashion is like a beloved woman, you know, and if you don't care her, you know, with care and respect, she really leaves you and maltreats you with, I mean, with forgetting, you know, because I mean, it's a very hard job, you know, because it's a very competitive job. And a very fast job, you know. Now I'm in the middle of the next season, and you know, if I'm wrong, and I'm an industrial designer, you know, I'm not kind of a tailor person or haute couture like you would think about. I'm not sitting in a studio playing with sequences and touching chiffon and sipping champagne with some models, you know. That's not, or
You're
talking.
Down on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm an industrial designer, you know, and having a big knowledge about how to do things, and like the whole financial background also, you know, like buying all these fabrics, dyeing them in a certain color, and then if it's wrong, you know, I mean...
It's your
loss.
Yeah,
it's my fault, yeah.
It's your, right. But I talked about the idea with you earlier about drawing, because you said you took your sketch pad everywhere, and you were doing... And you said, I go to the factory and I sketch in front of thousands of people. Yeah, absolutely, because I mean, it's always a deal with time. I'm having deadlines, you know, this kind of collection you have seen right now, I was showing already at the end of January, you know. I'm very early, because the whole manufacturing process and the delivery and merchandising, you know, takes time. So January is for fall.
Yes.
Is that how you would do it?
Absolutely. But I mean, I'm showing in January for next fall.
Yes, I see.
So I have to start with this collection in the end of summer.
Well, that is before anybody else. Do you worry that maybe what you're showing isn't the same trend or idea that other people have?
I mean, of course I have seen myself very often copied, because I'm kind of early.
That's
but
the
I think
other
it's
thing.
A compliment. I mean, what you like, you should take. I mean...
No, but that is another thing, isn't it? That you could come out so early that other designers have chance to do something.
On the other side, I can say, you know, you are the witness that I was the first one.
Right, I created. Have you ever thought of going to Paris to show?
No, I mean, I just had an offer from Paris, from an haute couture house. But I think in Paris, having a show and having all these kind of, this kind of audience, what you have in Paris, these big tents, like showing in front of 3,000 people, you need show business, fashion, you know? And I mean, I don't have the time for this, I must say. You know, what I'm doing is what I feel like, and I need a kind of short distance to see the quality, to see, I mean, how it's done, and it's kind of like every piece is kind of a masterpiece.
How many people do you show in front of then when you have your show in
about
Hamburg?
500. You know, that's the local press or international press and our clients. So, but I mean, in front of all these people, you know, you need big effects, you know, big thing, big colors, bright colors, you know, or naked girls or whatever, because, you know, a good dress everyone has seen already, you know, a black suit, what I really like, I mean, or a black dress, which you really can, what you need or what you can use for years, no one wants to see there, you know.
They want to see it in some special way.
You shouldn't come such a long way to see just a good made, handmade dress.
Right. We're talking to Wolfgang Joop, J-O-O-P, pronounced Joop, like hope, and nope. I was thinking about all the ways.
Not Joop like juice.
No. And we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Joan Quinn, etc. Don't go away. Hi, Joan Quinn, and we're back on Etc. with designer Wolfgang Joop. And we're on a new set. We have all this wonderful plantation furniture that Norman Stewart and Kathleen Spiegelman got us, and it comes from a plantation in Central America. And it's a coffee plantation, and when they're not picking coffee, they're making and weaving these wonderful pieces of furniture on this beautiful table. So we're very happy with our new set, and we're happy to be talking to Wolfgang Joop, who's a designer and who lives in Germany, but now has a place in New York, you said, Wolfgang.
Yeah, last year when I started my tour, my personal appearance tour, when I launched my perfume, and I decided to stay in New York. Because, I mean, first I have lots of friends in New York, and second, I mean, it's a place like all the immigrants should be.
I think that's right, I think that's right. Let's talk about the perfume.
Yeah, good.
I have the Joop, J-O-O-P.
Yeah, it's not very easy. It's not very easy talking about fashion, and also even harder to talk about perfume because you have to smell it. And it's, I mean, no word really can describe it. But I think when I came into that studio, you smelled already.
You
and
already
the bottle
knew.
is half empty. So, I mean, I can see that you use it.
See, I've been using it.
And I think it fits you very well.
It smells wonderful, but how did you come upon this, the fragrance? Let's.
Yeah, I mean, I think always at the time for a designer should be one time, or the highest point in his career is a personal perfume.
Is it?
Yeah, because I mean, you don't have all these kind of size problems anymore.
That's right. Any size fits anything, right?
It fits. You know, and on the other side, it's in a way also my bread and butter.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
These things
of course, because I mean, fashion is very risky. It's a very risky industry, and anyway, I had my fans when I did fashion, and very often women came and said, you know, why don't you have a scent? Because when I'm wearing your dress, I always feel like I'm betraying you when I'm wearing not your scent.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because it's a very personal and kind of erotic situation, like wearing someone's scent.
I have been wearing it for a long time, several months, and I don't know what it is about it. when I asked you about it, somebody outside said, in the green room, said that it's a mixture of all the castles in Germany.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little bit, because I raised at a farm in Potsdam next to Sanssouci. That was the castle of Frederick the Great. And it's a beautiful kind of vineyard castle from the 18th century. And when I was a little child, little boy, you know, I always went to the park, and they let me into the castle so I could stroll, because no one was there, no tourists, no one in the
was allowed
after
in?
the war, yeah. And so I always felt like I'm belonging to that castle, and I smelled, I mean, these kind of rococo lusts, you know.
Is that why this smell has an what does it make up of?
Yeah, it's Oriental and flower together. So, and they never mixed it before together.
Is that right?
Yeah, they had Oriental scents and fluorescent scents, but they never mixed it together. And in the park of Sanssouci in May, it was always the smell of jasmine and roses.
Oh.
So in this scent is jasmine, roses, patchouli, and a little bit of lemon. So the scent is very 18th century in a way. It's very, yeah, like you say, you can find it in castles.
It has a cultural appeal.
Yeah.
I mean, the scent, from what I understand in reading some of the information that you've put out about it, is it's layered. There's so many different things involved in getting the smell.
Yeah, it's like
the smell, getting the.
It's like 1001 Night story. You know, it's never ending. So that's also when you smell it. But I think it's a very erotic thing. And when I came out with this perfume, there were many women that really didn't like it, but young women liked it very much because it's a little bit sexual also.
Ah, that's it. Well,
and the bottle, I think it's also a very kind of new bottle. A friend of mine did it together with me. It's a kind of sculpture. It's like a body. It's a little bit, you know, you see the throat and the shoulders, and it's a little bit shaped like in German Bauhaus style, or as you would say, in the Art Deco.
Art Deco. I didn't think about that, because I always look at the rounded side, and I thought maybe the way it was designed was to lay down flat
it's a little
on
bit,
a table.
This friend who designed it together with me and who dedicated this bottle to me, he said, it's a bit like your personality. You have different sides.
Different sides,
and different edges.
That's great, yeah.
But it's really great in the palm, you know. I think that's also
what I thought. It had that kind of a feeling.
Feeling.
You're always working so hard. Do you ever have time to relax?
You know, if you enjoy work, you're very happy that you can do your job. And I need only little breaks and short breaks. I mean, sometimes I relax on a plane or in a taxi, you know, and then I get out, yeah, I'm fine, yeah.
That's it? Oh, you don't do very much.
Yeah, you know, like all the workaholics, normally they are lazy. I'm very lazy inside too, because I know so much about my laziness. Better I don't stop working, otherwise I can't get up anymore.
Oh, I see, I see.
When I start to sit and to relax, better I'm keep on moving.
Well, the perfume, we're going to see another clip from your fashion show.
Good.
I think a very exciting clip. But do you spray all the girls before they go on the runway?
Oh, they love it. They love it.
Do they?
Yeah, they love it. Yeah, there's a smell of perfume.
So we'll look on the set, and we'll see another piece from Wolfgang Joop's show, fashion show in Hamburg.
Oh, I can see these metal bustiers, and you know that was my idea for the evening.
Are they sculpted, or?
They're very sculpted, yeah.
Did they go all the way around the body?
Yeah, no. You will see it later when she puts out their jacket. They have leather strings on the side.
Oh, I see. They're leather straps in the back.
Yeah, and buckles. They are, you know, there's other part of my career, like you mentioned before, when I was a painter and sculptor, what I studied. So sometimes it comes through, it breaks through the fashion.
Do you think everyone can wear these things?
A lot of people, I tell you, a lot of people.
So it looks a little bit difficult. I love the suits. I think the suits would be great with the T-shirt.
I mean, the suits are also nice. They're a little made like man suits. You know?
This looks like a piece of sculpture.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I mean, sometimes, you should surprise someone also.
That was a surprise?
Huh? Yeah. I mean, the girls loved it. You know, everyone wanted to have it.
Oh, I bet they did.
Yeah, because I mean, for me, it's always the image of, I mean, all the movie Mad Max, for instance, I love.
Ah, yeah.
You know, it's a little bit the mixture between also Metropolis and a real woman. The hard metal and the hot meat, you know. That's
so
a
you're
great
just
mixture.
influenced by many things.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think it looks like you look back a lot.
Yeah, I look back and also into the future. But if you want to create the future, you have to look back first.
That's true, because I mean, I'm contradicting myself, but they do look futuristic as well.
Yeah.
Oh, those are divine. They just clip on.
Yeah, they're more comfortable than you think. And these big suits, you know, like menswear suits, together with this kind of bustier, it's kind of very
Is it
special.
gabardine? Talk about
No,
the fabric.
that's crepe, wool crepe.
Wool crepe. Those are really great. So I know you entertain a lot at home.
Yeah.
And do your guests come dressed like this when they come to your house?
Oh, yeah, sometimes, because, I mean, you have the opportunity to get dressed as you want, wherever you want to go. I mean, today, there is no rule like going like this or going like this out. I mean, you don't need a certain outfit.
I think I was the most surprised, and I chuckled a little bit at this eclectic, frantic cuisine that you have.
You mean the hectic cuisine.
What is it called? Hectic cuisine.
Cuisine, yeah.
Hectic cuisine. What is hectic cuisine?
Hectic cuisine, you know, a friend of mine who is a publisher, I always offered him to make this kind of book, The Hectic Cuisine, because I love to cook, I enjoy eating, I enjoy sharing food with friends, and I love to cook also. But I mean, I don't have so much time. So I think we have to make a cookbook, like how you can do it, and you have and you can speak to the phone same time.
Talk to the
phone. And like using all that junk, you know, and making haute cuisine out of it, you know, and all these just prepared food stuff.
And use the prepared
and make it like handmade, and it looks like a long preparation. And also, I like to cook with kind of cheap ingredients, you know, and then make it look very luxurious.
I think you have to do a book then.
Yeah,
what
I
is like
will.
one quick hectic cuisine recipe?
Oh, I tell you the biggest, and I mean, that's a little bit expensive, but I mean, it makes a big effect, a big effort. You know, these deep frozen pancakes, you know, potato pancakes, a little bit of creme fraiche and caviar on top, you know.
That's it. Well, that's very chic. That's right. Before we leave, I think this might embarrass you, but Stern magazine, which is like the People magazine, reported on a survey that the two most familiar faces in Germany are Chancellor Helmut Kohl and designer Wolfgang Joop.
Yeah, probably that's true. And if I eat more, because I enjoy eating here in Los Angeles so much, I will look like him also.
Oh, no. Tell us, we're gonna leave, but we're happy that you were here with us. And before you leave, tell us what you like about Los Angeles.
Oh, what I like about Los Angeles is that the people are so friendly, you know, because like we did pictures with Herb Ritz here 3 days, and on the top of his roof, of a studio roof, he built up a big star, and the model posed on the top of the star, and you know, he offered more and more poses, and in Europe they would complain after 5 minutes. That's the difference.
Oh, that's good. So we'll be looking for your ads. Thank you very much for being with us. And thanks for being with Joan Quinn, etc. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Goodbye.